Hey everybody. So, I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. If you watched the last video that I posted, it was the North Bed redo video, because in it I talk about how initially I planted hydrangeas underplanted with autumn fern on the north facing bed of our house. And then over the next month or so, I began to notice that the hydrangeas and the autumn fern were getting very sunburned because I did not analyze the bed before I planted them. And yeah, the north facing bed got full sun. So this is what began to happen to my autumn fern, you guys. It got real sunburned. I cut off a good bit of the brown crunchy parts, but you can still see there's evidence of sunburn all over my hydrangeas and my autumn fern. So what I did was I took up about 5 hydrangeas out of the north facing bed, these 2, and there are 1, 2, 3, and I put them all along this shade border that borders my stone and gravel pathway that leads onto the stone patio. Now, what I had in this bed were the aucuba, also the heucherella. I still have the 3 heucherella and the 3 aucuba, but I took up 2 camellias that I had planted here and here. And I'll put the camellias over here on the other side of the oak tree. So all of this has kind of caused me to have to do a little bit of a, topsy-turvy in the backyard in my shade area because I needed to make room for my hydrangeas and my autumn fern. But what I did was kind of the same thing I had going on in the north bed. I put the hydrangeas in, and then I put in maybe 7 or so autumn fern under these hydrangeas. I added an autumn fern here. I added an autumn fern here. Now, if you'll remember from a previous video on my shade garden, I had a aucuba placed behind these Japanese spreading yew. All I did was I took the aucuba and I scooted them back about 3 or 4 feet, making room for these camellias. So now I have 3 camellias right behind these Japanese spreading yew, and the aucuba now way back here, which I really like better. So it really worked out better because now I have, instead of just 2 layers here under the oak tree, a layer of aucuba and Japanese spreading yew, now I have 3 layers. A layer of aucuba with a layer of camellia that are mid-sized camellias that are going to bloom pink. So they're going to get maybe about 4 feet tall and wide. And then underneath here is the Japanese spreading yew. I also added an aucuba here right off the screened-in porch. My hope is that it'll fill in this space. This has been kind of a no man's land, so I'm hoping that I'll just have this space filled in with aucuba eventually. And so this side of the garden has also had a little bit of reworking just because of my mistake on the north side bed, but it turned out fine. Okay. Okay, back over this way. So yesterday I got out on the north side bed and I took up a few more of my plants. I took up these variegated hydrangeas and I really chopped them back because they were also sunburned. And so I chopped them back. I'm sacrificing all my blooms on these variegated hydrangeas this year, which is fine because I'd rather them now have their energy going into making healthy roots and stronger root systems rather than the energy going up to all the long limbs, so that I can have healthy hydrangeas whenever I do figure out where I want to put them. Alright, so what I'm looking at for this side bed here is just a swath of hydrangeas. As you walk down this path toward the stone patio, you will just have a lot of hydrangeas, and I think that that is really fitting for this space. It works perfectly, and I already had my bank of oak leaf hydrangeas over here, and so I thought, you know, it's going to be good probably to just extend these hydrangeas. This is the new shade bed, and sometimes I think what we need to know as gardeners, what I'm having to learn personally, if you're a new gardener, this is really going to hopefully be helpful to you. If you do over or underestimate the sun in one portion of your garden, if you have to do kind of a reworking on your garden, which you will, don't panic, it's okay. You can find a spot for your plants, you can dig things up, you know, like we have to just be able to be adaptable. We have to be able to be adaptable and flexible in our gardens. So this has been a lesson for me, but I hope that you guys like the way that it turned out. I do think that a hydrangea border over here is going to be really pretty. So I am really actually kind of happy with everything that happened. So I hope y'all have a great Sunday, and I will talk to you soon.